We're going to get started, and we're going to have our first presentation here. We have a morning motivational talk. So we have Barrett Hopper, who is the Director of Operations for the Americas at MKS Instruments. He's also a TEDx speaker, and he has spent his career leading high-performance manufacturing organizations where wins and losses show up in real results. And as an avid runner with over 79,000 miles and 52 marathons since 1985, he brings a deeply personal perspective on how resilience, discipline, and learning from setbacks compound over time. And today, he's here to talk about the journey since Greenville 25, how wins and losses shape us. And with that, I'd like to welcome Barrett.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. I didn't just say who I was. This is actually now my third MXO event, so I've been half of the time that Jeff here, I've been able to watch him. A year ago, but before I start telling my journey, I know you guys have had some practice doing this because I saw you a little earlier. Jeff warmed you up. So raise your hand if you are here because your company or your boss made you come. Okay, good. Raise your hand if you're here because you want to network. All right. And raise your hand if you're not sure why you're here. You're just here. All right. It's always something. So again, a year ago, seems like forever, but a year ago, as you can see from the photo here, I was in the back of the room, and it was my first event. And the reason I was here is because in my world, things weren't sticking, things weren't working, people weren't buying in, progress wasn't lasting. I said, I need some help. I need to move the needle. How can I do that? And what I had to do, and what I'm asking you guys to do, reset your mindset, redefine your leadership, redefine your approach. That was what I had to do in order to take something away from this experience. And that's what I'm asking you guys. You have a unique opportunity. Time is the most precious thing we have. And I'm grateful that you're spending it right now. I have a captive audience to listen to me for a few minutes. But think about that as you go through the couple of days here. This is the only moment of this time that you're gonna have when you're doing whatever you're doing, that the present that you're in. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not here yet. So right now is what's really gonna matter. So what you do with this is really up to each of you, what you take away from it. And that's why I'm gonna share with you my journey. At MKS, we had a lot of transformation going on. And again, we had a lot of issues. Resistance was there from the beginning. And it's still there. Systems, there's just no belief in them. Say, why, it's another program, something new we're doing. And I'm sure a lot of you are facing the same hurdles and same challenges in what you're doing. So what we had to do, and what I'm asking you to do, is shift to ownership. You have to own it. Everyone has to own it. It was just a few weeks ago, I met with a couple of my managers, supervisors. We had a lunch off site, just a dinner off site. And the message was simple. Let's eat, let's laugh, and then let's talk about how we can own what we do. How we can own our world, how we can influence those around us. And we left that meeting with the same systems, not belief, not anything. But what we did leave with was some actions. That we're not just gonna go through the motions, that we're gonna get something out of what we do. And we all have that same opportunity when you leave here, is to take something with you. Now, once I left MXO last year, I went and I said, I need I need to know more. So I attended MSO Midwest. I went to some other conferences. I even did some international things. And when I found out, the problems were the same. The challenges were the same. People didn't believe in systems. People didn't want to do things. It was nothing changed. The faces changed, the climate changed, but the issues are everywhere. Even within our organizations, we have 54 facilities across the world, same challenges, same issues. Every initiative is, here we go again. People resistance to those changes. So what I did later, I fashioned that around a TED Talk that I did around falling. Because even though we have those challenges, we can't become risk averse to trying to do things. So one of the things I talked about then was falling on purpose. And as you see from the picture there, I fell on purpose. And I've made a lifetime of falling on purpose. As Jeff mentioned, I've done 79,000 miles, over 50 marathons. It's been a blessed journey. And I did this by accident. But obviously I'm not smart enough to figure out how to stop. So I guess I'll keep doing it until there's no set number. I'll just keep doing it until I can't. Can't, I guess. But one thing I've learned through falling is that's how you grow. You know, that's how you build the muscle, right? Is that resistance to that. But you have to get up. And that's the whole point. Fall doesn't define you. It's what do you do when you fall? What's your response? Do you pick up something? Do you learn anything from that? Do you make any adjustments from that? Do you tell anybody about it so you can influence someone else? Maybe the fall that you experienced wasn't really for you. Maybe it's for you to share that experience with someone else. You know, that's how that interconnectivity that we have comes into play. And that's what worked for me. Now, one thing I'll tell you, we always talk about the outcome. We always want to give that story that, hey, we did this initiative, we went through this program, and we went back, and everybody went rah, 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 and things worked great. That wasn't the case. Not everything worked that we did, but we kept going, and we're still going. And it's not a linear journey. It's an up and down journey. There's going to be some 2 steps forward, some 1 step back. But in all of that, you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep going, and that's what we've done. But once you do, as we've experienced, as I've experienced, things will begin to change. Things will begin to adjust. And you'll find out as you go through the demo session that Jeff mentioned, and we get our 5-minute pitches, you're going to have some epiphanies there. And again, it may not be for you. It may be for someone that you share that with. So keep that in mind. So everyone in here is a leader, because there's going to be people that are going to be looking to you. What did you get out of this? What did you share at that conference? You know, and if your company sponsors you, like, hey, we spent money. What's our return on that? Right? They're going to be looking for that. So leadership is built daily, not occasionally, not every so often. And I'll say that the finish line is not the finish, it's the start. But I want to leave you with something, and this is my closing message. But as we continue to keep going, a pattern begin to emerge. And Jeff talked about patterns. Look for patterns. And what I've realized is there's 3 elements that have to be in play in order for you to have uncommon results, as I say. Number 1, you have to have a vision. Where are we going? What are we trying to do? You know, you all are here for these couple of days. And if you don't have this, develop one. Figure out why you're here. What do you want to get out of this? What do you want to take away from this experience? Because there's something. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, and no one has that. That's too precious for us to waste, right? And you have to be dissatisfied. Like the status quo. Yeah, I was telling a colleague this morning, the enemy of great is good enough. Because when things are good enough, you don't do anything. You're like, I'm fine. And that's why you gotta have that dissatisfaction. And we all, because we're here and we're able-bodied, we have the ability to do something about it, the ability to change. If any one of those are 0 in your world, you're gonna be less than average. You're not gonna get any results. You're not gonna get any change. But if any of those and all of those are even 1 on that factor, you're gonna see exponential change. And that's how you get uncommon results. So again, you don't need to fix everything tomorrow, you know, and you can't. You know, and again, you don't need to win every mile that you're in. As Jeff said, I've run over 79,000 miles. You know, this year I hit 80,000 miles. It's like miles. It won't be on my tombstone though. You know, it won't make it in between the dash. But I can talk about it while I'm going through, right? And it's a part of my story, it's a part of my journey, it's a part of what I can share with everyone. Because the most important mile out of all of those that I ran and all that we do is the one you're in right now. So again, as I would like to close, and I would ask each of you, is again, meet some new people. And I love the beginning talking. And we were so much into it, no one wanted to stop talking. So maybe next year we do that for 10 minutes, right? And meet 2 people. So that was really great. But meet a new friend, network, learn a new technology, share what you learn, and do what I did. use this opportunity as a springboard for the rest of your year. Because we all know there's going to be challenges. There's going to be things we're going to be facing, things outside of our control. We can't do anything about that. But what we can do things about is what we get to do today. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the conference.